Welcome back to Building Your Comments in Minecraft. As you can see, this is a longer video than normal, but I think you will really enjoy some of these builds. The first one was a small area we worked on in Madison, Wisconsin. Now, you may notice that I said we and not I. This is because it was the first sort of unofficial build session for building these comments. You'll see another one later on in the video, and plenty more down the line. It was super fun to do, and we plan to have a lot more of these. Admittedly, the street view was a bit odd in places, it made me jump around to different spots, but the 3D was pretty good and beneficial for the build. Initially, Lemur39 was the one who had it suggested. This was by another builder, Umwhat. He also suggested that to me, so I decided to help out. Then, Crazy Cow is also interested in helping, and it kind of just snowballed until it became an actual build session with all of us. Obviously, we didn't all work on the same building. Several of us worked on the Goodyear as a starting point, others kept joining us throughout the night to work on other things. For example, King Chicken was the driving force behind the big building next to the Goodyear, Protege worked on the parking lot, etc. Overall, around 8 or 9 of us pitched in, and we completed the Goodyear, mostly finished 2 parking lots. King Chicken finished his building the next day or 2, and Lemur39 started on a used car lot, but did not quite finish it. Overall, it was just a really great time, and we had a lot of fun. All of this was from only about 2 hours of work. The second one was a small area in Spixworth, England. This was an odd one. I collaborated with Crazy Cow on it as he is working on a series where he's doing a building in every country. I personally worked on a small lodge while he did the ground details and even the little forest around the build. One of the reasons this place was so odd is that it was just barely on the edge of the 3D view from Norwich, which is just south of this village. Most of Spixworth is in 2D, but this cottage specifically is only barely in 3D, and not even all of the building. The back part of the building very well could be inaccurate, as there were plenty of shrubs in the way of the street view, and it cut off right there. I think we did make it look pretty nice in the end though, at about 50 minutes of build time. The next suggestion was a simple request: build anything in Michigan. This was easy for me, as I already had multiple things I needed to complete there for my Travelog 1-to-1 series. Since I'm looking to put out a small Mackinac Island video for my trip there, I did one of those builds, specifically the Grand Hotel Stables. Let me tell you, this was kind of a nightmare to do. The satellite view for the island is absolutely atrocious, making the buildings look very slanted and making this one in particular extremely difficult to outline. I spent probably an hour on the outlining process itself, and I'm still not entirely happy with it. I struggled a lot with using TPLL, or our command for using real coordinates to map in-game outlines. The detailing was also hard, as it was mostly red lines that I had to use banners and carpets for at a weird angle in the windows, taking me a lot of time. Over 2 hours in total for this build. I also had to use my own reference images from when I went, as the place doesn't really have full street view, so I'm very glad that I took those pictures. I'm definitely a bit worried for the next build I do here, so I'll see how that goes. After this, I did one of my longest builds for a request so far. In fact, it is the longest if you don't count the block of houses I built for someone in Alabama. I spent a whopping 6 hours on this, and that's with recent Street View and fairly recent 3D. This was in Bismarck, North Dakota, and I was actually quite happy when I received this comment, as I went there last summer, and as such had some travelogue builds to do there. This specific building is the America's Best Value Inn and Suites, so let me tell you, I wouldn't call it the best of anything really. The building itself mostly took a lot of repetition to get done, including both the details and the roof. The large amount of time I spent on this really came from the ground details. I spent ages outlining a lot and then filling it all in, and I had to spend a second session just doing all of those more detailed parts of the build. I definitely do think it was worth it in the end, as even if it was kind of a substandard building in real life, I wanted to make it as nice as possible in-game, and overall just really improved on my BTD builds. Oh, and a quick side note, you'll see that the trees are kind of a disgusting brown color. I did change those just afterwards, as that requires a biome change that makes relog, and it really does disrupt the replay files when I'm building. final comment suggestion for this video was Toledo, Ohio, which was the other build session I was talking about earlier. Lemur39 had a commenter who wanted anything built in Ohio, just like the Michigan commenter for me, and I had a set of comments from there already that we picked through and tried to find what we needed for our build. Once again, we started talking about in different servers and pitched the idea that we do another build session. After all, there was good Street View and 3D, and it was a nice little area that a bunch of us could do. We had a decent crowd join, about 5 to 6 from the initial pitch, and then a couple from the build team server that were already online. Once again, each of us worked on different aspects. One did the store part of the gas station, Rice did part of the roads, Rohit and I worked on both sides of the gas station, and others such as Lemur pitched in to do several parking lots near the building near the gas station. Once again, we worked for about 2 hours, and it was an excellent time. We'll continue to be doing as many of these as we can reasonably do. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see my neighborhood in Minecraft, check out this video. Make sure to subscribe for more Build the Earth content.